here to pick up my DD-214 and become a civilian.
In the military, they say that 10 minutes early is on time, and on time is late.
The newest member of the Gas Dog family, Joe Hauser!
Team at Gasoline Dog Media hired me right out of the military, and I want to prove I am worth the risk.
I hate him.
Hate him! I hate him.
Just a constant nuisance.
Moron thinks he can step to me.
Kind of feels like the Army.
You didn't succeed in the Army by being like other people. You embraced what you were good at and you doubled down on it. That is what made you an exceptional soldier.
You're a jumper in the door of a C-130, baby, and that mission's coming.
This kite will keep us going for the rest of the year. I want a campaign.
So you're trying to take out a meme page?
We just really need the money.
It looks like old Gasoline Dog is really circling the drain.
It may seem like a cute little media company from the outside, but from the inside, it's a festering sore.
I had a bunch of new coworkers who are all a little insane and would never hang out with each other under any other circumstances than this job.
I get dumber and dumber every year.
I don't know where they find them, bro.
We pay them barely over minimum wage. Oh, I love that.
Yes. I'm sure that everything is different in the military.
They don't get my jokes. They don't get me. No one's in danger. No one's dying.
What you're experiencing is no different than what every veteran goes through.
I can't believe you had the audacity to even come at me.
Ninjas were the special operations of their time.
You've turned in the uniform, but you're still carrying around that invisible rucksack.
So I need to remember what it was like to be a new sergeant?
Lead them, Joe.
You guys talk a big game. You never deliver. It's not about me. It's about each other.
We want to crush flies. We want to destroy them. We want to go to their homes, insult the thieves.
That's the literal definition of a war crime.
This is ridiculous. You're not going to get away with this.
You're hot or cold, hot or cold. You're hot, hot.
This is a Benedict Arnold.
Brutus stabbing Caesar.
Am I afraid of being sunk to the bottom of the ocean? Fuel always floats to the top.
It's survival of the fittest, Lucius.
And we're the fit.
You know what? Maybe it's not so bad here.
The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on Sunday.
This is about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Guns up, giddy up. Welcome to Billy Stop's last call of the day. Oh my goodness, there's a live chat going on. It's been a hot minute, boys and girls. And I'm sorry, I apologize. I've been, doing the Lord's work out there. The Western North Carolina, the forgotten people. Maybe that's what we call them. I don't know. But I met some really cool Coast Guard guys around the way. Let me start with this. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I have made fun of the Air Force in abundance. I have made fun of the Navy to no end. But everything I said about the Coast Guard, let me take it back. Let me reel all that back. New respect for the Coast Guard. Love those guys. Selfless servants. All the dudes that I worked with this last week. All the coasties, the rescue swimmers, and whatever, the helicopter pilot and all that. Listen, they picked up chainsaws. They didn't get orders. The orders never came down for the Coast Guard to come and help. He's like, dude, we help everybody all the time. But then this massive disaster happens and they don't send us. So we begged for like 10 days to like get us in. And they finally were like, look, we'll give everybody bulk leave, but you have to go on your own dime, your own dollar. And they were like, fuck it. Guns up, giddy up. Let's go. And not only did they show up, these are rescue swimmer divers. These are dolphins, killer whales, if you will. But they picked up chainsaws and they did grunts work. So anyway, huge, like, super proud of those guys. I really liked the professionalism and everything that they brought to the table. There's a couple of air marshals that showed up. So yeah, shout out to all those guys. Also, Dennis Smith and their family for letting us crash at their epic cabin on our last night, cooking us a fabulous meal. Ty, the snowman guy, ran the grill, the Blackstone. It was awesome, man. It was just such a great last night to such a disaster. It's been such a sad, you guys know, you guys have been there with me, right? Like, I have had hundreds of messages from you guys, all the pouring outs and everything. So you guys know what it's been like for me. I don't have to explain that to you. And that last few nights, though, was amazing. So let me decide with this. I've been in the field for 3 weeks, living in the suck, the shit, the mud, the blood. all of it. And I still shaved and did my hair for today's show, unlike my producer, who I have big screen today to help me out because this is a special day for us. We're leaving for Shell Shock, and you couldn't shave? You could. Where have you been? Didn't see you out in the field. Didn't see you out in the mud, the blood, and the suck, and you couldn't fucking shave for today's show?
Yep, I'm going to go ahead and do this. How do we do it? Yep, there we go. Shame corner.
Get
Shame
back
corner.
down there, you peasant. Get back
Where
down
I
to the bottom of
belong.
my screen. Yeah, you stay right down there. And no, that's the Sergeant Major. Sorry, I've been playing Army for a few days. But no, it feels good to have shaved. Feels good to be a baby face again. And man, God, today's show brought to you by ghostbed.com and factormeals.com/Wolfpack50 meal planning to the next level. Getting ready for Shell Shock Festival today. So right after this show, I'm going to pack up all of this, the whole studio. And then we will be driving down to Orlando. We have the comedy show, the big comedy show at Tactical Brewing Company Friday night. It ain't too late, dude. You can get tickets at the door, or you can go to Eventbrite, which guarantees you a seat because it'll probably get to standing room only. So if you want a chair, if you want to physically sit your booty in a chair, get your tickets on Eventbrite for the comedy show, and that guarantees you butts in seats. But the beer will be flowing. The suds will be flowing. Margaret and Jay Durrell and myself will be all the jokes will be there. And then, of course, we have the live podcast right after. Will Cray's going to be there. Everybody's going to 2 cops, 1 donut. Throw 2 cops up, 1 donut. He was actually on Colin Noir's show this week. So this is one of our sister podcasts on the network. 2 copsies, 1 donut. Is this a clip from it? Look at that. Look at that boy. Look at our boy. The Pew Pew Life. Oh, boy, that's exciting. Good for him.
Yeah.
We're so excited. I can't wait to have him there. Kyle Rittenhouse is going to be there. Conservative Anthony's going to be there. Hallelujah. Jay Durrell's going to be there. Margaret Owens is going to be there. I don't know why I'm talking like a black preacher right now. Starting to channel my inner Kamala Harris.
If I get out of my chair and start doing one of those dances, then you know it's got the whole rhythm because I'm crippled.
Because he's crippled, because he only has 1 leg. Lots of people dying out in this world, and I got a crippled producer. Fuck my life. All right, today's show. Got a little update on Hurricane Helene. We got the Shell Shock 2 Festival that we're all excited about. Can't wait to see all you fans there. Obviously, if you want to come, Sheridan North hotels where we're all staying after party 2 nights in a row, Friday night and Saturday night, the Sheridan North. But the Shell Shock Music Festival, the show goes on, even though USA Today and the Rolling Stones try to hold us down. We ain't fixing to give in. We're going to rise above. The show goes on. I don't know, dude. I woke up today feeling very black preacherish. I don't know what's going on. Apologize for it in advance, but maybe I don't. So, yeah. Then we have the SpaceX landing, which is incredible. Kamala Harris. I don't know, guys. I've been in the woods for 3 freaking weeks. I haven't been into the politics. I haven't had phones. I haven't had internet. I apologize. I got up early this morning, very early. I got in late last night, got up early this morning, and I was just trying to get myself re-immersed into the news and all these things. And Kamala Harris is epically losing from what I gather. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I've been in the woods. I've been out of the loop. You guys probably at this point know more than me. If you didn't know more than me to begin with. And but it seems like now Trump is not only leading the gambling polls, but he's up a whopping 14 points across the board polls. But they still have Kamala Harris as the popular vote. Okay, maybe. Don't think so. Sounds like a little propaganda-ish. Also found out that one of the headline news is that China has surrounded Taiwan with an aircraft carrier, submarines, a whole bunch of other stuff to practice, quote unquote, an invasion of Taiwan. I don't think that countries do that anymore. I don't think we just float up into a country surrounded to practice overtaking the country. I think more likely than not, China is just surrounding the country. And we're just not going to say that because American propaganda news is bullshit. So what's your say on that? You've got a Chinese sibling. You've been to China. And what is your Chinese?
In years past, I had a roommate that may or may not have worked for the NSA and may or may not have spied on China. So may or may not have had any of this stuff, but we've been listening to them for some years and they've been doing these drills for the last 20 years. They'll send over a couple little things and then they'll send over some fighter groups or they'll do some fighter testing. They'll do this, but not to this extent. You're not going to go ahead and like Why would you take all of these military assets and resources that you're going to spend fuel, money, food? You're spending a lot of logistics money just to get them there in the first place, just for a drill that you could sandbox back on land. I don't know. Is this the October surprise? I mean, we did just give Taiwan another 157 million. We've given a lot of money away in the last 3 weeks, and not to Americans, to other countries. So if I have the millions and hundreds of $1,000,000 of exactly the numbers mixed up a little bit, that's why. Because we sent money to Taiwan, and then a couple of days later we sent money to Lebanon. But I don't know. It's one of those weird things where I wouldn't put it past them at this point, because we don't have any strength in our country to help our own citizens out from a natural disaster. What are we going to do for the rest of the world other than just shell out our debit card with no endless PIN numbers?
Is it a debit card or is it just a credit card at this point?
It's just
a debit card. I think it's a credit card. Put it
or
on
it's one of
credit.
this, like a roulette machine, but you always win.
The closer Trump gets to winning the election, the crazier shit is going to get. And I think if he does make it, shit will get even crazier. If you want to go back to my latest video on Fox News, FAWKES, my brand new YouTube channel, that is crazy because as soon as I started the channel, the world lost its mind and I haven't been able to be there to pamper and baby and nurture my new YouTube channel. So help me nurture it. Go there, give it a follow. I don't know. We got like 10 or 11 videos, very short news segments, but I covered the strike. And in the strike, I even mentioned in the strike video that there was going to be a 90-day rest period where they were going to try to send them back. The strike would end. They would send them back to work for 90 days as they try to come up with a resolution. Now, what's crazy about this is that the 90-day thing did go into effect, but this media, mainstream media, sold it as they've opted to put the strike on hold until January. No, that's how every strike works. You kind of do this like picket for a day or two. They give you a 90-day rest period to try to come up with a resolution. And then the real strike kind of happens. But the media is not telling you that. Now, it's pretty odd that in the election cycle, they start with this strike that would be catastrophic. Guys, listen, if they strike, it will be bad. I'm not being hyperbolic. I said this in the last video. It will be terrible for this country if they strike. All ports from Massachusetts all the way around to Texas closed. The price of everything is going to go up astronomically. Go back and watch my video and the whole breakdown of it. Yeah, here we go. Here's a little map of all, if you're one of the YouTube viewers, here's a little mapsy poo of what's going on. So this is a really big deal. They do this 90-day grace period, and then they're going to reconvene the strike if they don't come up with a resolution in January. If Trump gets elected, when does he take office?
I think February is when the inauguration is.
Well, I think it's like the end of January, but yeah, you're right. It's like in that time frame, but just in time for shit to get really, really, really bad. So if the strike happens, it would be really, really bad by that time. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't happen. If it does happen, I think it is proof that the conspiracy theorists win again. But very odd timing. One of the most catastrophic, like one of the largest strikes. How many was it? 80,000, 83,000, 183,000.
Something like that.
I go back and watch my video. It's got the real number in there. Maybe it was like 83,000 people striking. It's a lot. Maybe it was 183 or 83,000. Either way, a lot of people striking. It's one of the largest strikes of our time. And so this is going to be a big deal, and we'll see what happens here. I'll be curious to see if it actually comes into fruition right there at the inauguration time, and which will be proof, right, that they will do anything, including ruin our own country, just to keep Donald Trump out of office. So very strange times that we're living in. Shell Shock 2 is going to be great this weekend. And yeah, it's going to be good. And then we have the SpaceX stuff going on, which you're going to fill us in for.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
North Korea blew up bridges and roads connecting to the south. Oh, Armory Knight's giving me the news. Oh, that's sweet. That is cute.
So we got that.
Thanks, Armory Knight. Thanks for being so fucking cool that you know the news and I don't. I hope you give yourself a pat on the back. Oh, let's do this before we jump into the show too. 14 minutes of just jabber jabber. I apologize. You came out of the woods. What?
You've been gone. You got to catch up. You've got a lot in you that you're ready to get out.
Yeah. I have Coast Guard people still in me, actually. Coast Guard guys are still inside me.
Inside of you.
So I came back out of the woods 2 nights ago to this cabin that the Smith family donated. Very, very kindly of them. And they hooked me into their Wi-Fi, and all of a sudden my phone's like, brr, 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 bing, bing, bing. as all the notifications, because I'm so popular, they came in. And I began to go through them and realize, unbeknownst to me, with no warning or anything, my book has dropped on Barnes and Nobles. Now, the book is the summer release of 2025, which was depressing. And I was under contract, under non-disclosure. I couldn't tell you guys what the book deal was about, even though that this book deal has been going on for about 2 years now. Remember, I wrote the book for the Wolfpack, right? I wrote the book, and then I was going to release it to the Wolfpack. And over 300 of you emailed me to get on this email list that I started 2 years ago. And then that got a hold of somebody, which they sent it to somebody else, who got me in contact with Nick Palmisano, who said, I got this book that came across my thing, and they said, you're going to self-publish this? I said, yes. And they were like, no, this is not. No, this should be published. This is like a super funny, one of the funniest books I've ever read. And I was like, really? So anyway, over the course of 2 years, I signed a massive book deal with Simon Schuster. So that was the news I wasn't allowed to tell you guys, that I thought I was going to be able to tell you last February. And I wasn't allowed to. I was under contract. They even paid me. And then they said, don't tell anybody. And then all of a sudden, without any warning, they go ahead and put the pre-sale up. And the book cover. I didn't see the book cover first. That's my first time. That's not the book cover I designed. John Bates, I think, designed a better book cover. Me personally, I'm not in control. Jonathan Bates, our own producer, had the real book cover that I really loved. Simon Schuster said, nope, this is what the science says. Whatever. But yeah, and so one of the Coast Guard guys, Ryan, was the first person to buy my book because he was sitting next to me. And I'm like, you guys aren't going to believe this, but I actually wrote a book. And he was like, what? And I was like, and it just posted. So this is like huge news for me. And so I'm sharing this moment with these guys I barely even know. And he was like, and he's like, oh my God, I just bought one. And I was like, what? I hadn't even told my wife yet. And I'm like, bro, I'm pretty sure you're like the first dude that's bought the book. And he was like, get the frick out. Because I don't think he swears. I think he's a godly Christian man. I think what he wanted to say inside of him, it was like, what the fuck? But what came out was like, what the freak, man? You know, like those guys that don't swear? You know the type? You know where they want to swear, but they don't? Yeah, like, what the freak, man?
Son of a biscuit.
Shut the front door, bro.
Shut the front door.
This Coast Guards, they're like super spiritual, you know? So they're, yeah, what the heck, bro? What the heck, dude? What the heck is going on?
That we don't use care in this world.
They only eat with silver spoons. They have MREs, but their MREs come with like silver spoons. Here I am making fun of the Coast Guard again. Damn it. I said I wasn't going to do it. I said I wasn't going to do it. No, these they were not like that at all. He literally said, what the fuck? And then, but he's the first one to buy the book. So I'm extremely excited. And again, guys, apologize. It's been 3 weeks since I've been able to really sit down here and podcast. I know I'm rambling, but I need it. I need to be with you guys on the airwebs. And I'm a little underprepared for today's show, to be honest with you. Have you seen the clip of Kamala Harris where she's reading the teleprompter and it goes out and she just starts repeating herself? Have you seen that? Can you pull that clip for me quickly?
Well, it's happened a couple times. Well, it's happened more than once. That's how many.
The one I'm referring to.
Like it's 32. There's 32.
She's like 32. 30.
Between 31 and 33. It's a number that we use for things. 32. Yep.
That's me, dude. That is me. Like right now, I'm like those Coast Guard guys, those Coast Guard guys that I spent time with the Coast Guard guys, and we did Coast Guard guys things. And but anyway, that's how I feel. Shout out to Kamala Harris and all she's done for this country and what she's done for Hurricane Helene victims, which is not a lot. And let me tell you this, Joshua, the people of at least Burnsville, Spruce Pine, Newland, in the surrounding counties, Yanceyville, all those places like that, or Yancey County, whatever they call it. I'm not a mountain man, forgive me. They're not big fans of the Fed boys right now. And anybody that's wearing a National Guard uniform is a representation of the government that they now fucking hate. Because when their tax dollars, what they spend their tax money on, what they needed those tax dollars the most to work for them, they didn't work. They didn't work at all. Matter of fact, the National Guard was very late to the show. I'm extremely disappointed in the command staff of the North Carolina National Guard. The National Guard really stepped up for Bush's war. Bush, they really put a lot of money into this and really made us like, but what they did was they made the National Guard more federal, less statey. So now when the states actually need the National Guard is just an extension of the big federal army. The National Guard does more for the federal government than it actually does for the states now, at least here in North Carolina under Roy Cooper. Cooper is what they're calling him. I have never seen more people in my life be so red-pilled in one moment than I have seen in the last week. 2 weeks ago, I would walk up a driveway and they would say like, how y'all's doing? Y'all's all right? Y'all's need anything? More like, actually, we're fine. Your house is gone. What do you need? This last week, it's been, y'all's with the government? No? All right, come on up. What can we do you for? But it was like, yo, if you're with the government, get fucked. Actually, I saw an article yesterday, and again, guys, underprepared. I normally obviously would put these articles up in front of you for the YouTube viewers. 99% of you listen, but you guys know I put the receipts up there for you. I don't have those receipts today. I got them very late last night. So anyway, the article was about North Carolina militias rise up against the National Guard, right? No, that's not the whole truth. The truth is that they've done all of the work, like private contracted human trafficking organizations. Like there are government entities like Sentinel Foundation, Save Our Allies, who when the government decided in the last few years to start abandoning our own people overseas, our interpreters, our
everybody,
right? Like
our own military. We left our own military over there. We left our own citizens over there. We just picked up and left. And then the Abbey Gate bombing, that happened. We let people die over there. We have the ability to do this, but we're just letting it happen.
Right. And so the child trafficking stuff, the government was like not paying attention to that. So anyway, these organizations, they came into an existence to kind of fill in where the government was rapidly being removed. And now they have transitioned to hurricanes. So the mass majority of rescue efforts came from volunteer veterans groups, special operations veterans, and all veterans across the board all came together on several different airfields, and where the government, and so then the government tried to thwart this by landing their own helicopters and blocking the runways. But then they say fake news that, oh, we didn't block FAA airspace and we didn't control the. No, you didn't. That's true. But what you did was you landed helicopters to refuel for hours without moving. And so that the private helicopters that were actually doing the rescues, that were actually hoisting down the baskets and getting people out, weren't able to fly out. Matter of fact, one of these Coast Guard helicopters was turned around in Atlanta. Sorry, you're not going. We're not sending you there. What? Dude, there's nothing else that's happened in our country that's like this. This is very bizarre. And so where these guys filled in, they did all the heavy lifting. So if you've ever been a part of a moving crew with your friends, right? The moving party, and you've carried the heavy couch and the bed frames and the beds and the dressers and all the things down the apartment stairs and out to the U-Haul, and giving yourself a hernia, loading it onto the U-Haul. You've done all of the things only to have that one guy that always shows up late and carries like 2 boxes. And he's the first one to grab a piece of pie out of the pizza box, crack some suds, and he's like, "Well, that was tough, right?" And everybody's kind of like, "Yo, what the fuck, bro? What the fuck, man? Like, you didn't carry shit. Now you're first one cracking a beer." That is what the government's response has been like. And so everybody that actually moved heavy shit is not very happy about the guy who just showed up late and is now trying to get up on the pizza and on the beer and the spoils of hard work and hard labor. And so the mountain people, they're not dumb. They're hardworking folks who actually probably get it more than most. And they are frustrated with the government right now. They're frustrated and they don't want your help. They don't want that guy to come in to carry. They're like, dude, fuck off. Like, get away from our pizza, get away from our beer, put the fucking shoebox full of knickknacks down. You weren't here for the heavy lifting. You don't get to carry the shoebox of knickknacks and then eat our pizza and drink our beer. Fuck right off. That's the attitude right now up in a lot of these mountain towns. Now it's different, right? And it's funny where it's different, Josh, because in Asheville, they're getting all of the support. And what is Asheville politically?
I'm going to go ahead and guess it's Democrat, but I don't live in
extremely left. It's like one of the most, it's like Denver, Colorado. No, I'm sorry, like Aspen. Isn't Aspen very left?
Oh, Denver is. For
Denver.
war, sure.
It's like Denver, right? You know what I mean? Like Asheville is like the Denver of the East Coast. Everybody's fucking liberal there. So they got everything. They got all of the support and all the needs, and they needed it too. Like, don't get me wrong, they needed it too. But rural Western North Carolina has been completely abandoned. And if you don't, listen, let me tell you a story. Can I tell a story, Josh?
Absolutely. The floor is
Am I
yours.
allowed to tell a story?
Sure,
On my own show?
Well, our show.
Yeah, but let me tell a story. Oh, you didn't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
I can do this.
You could do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. You're the producer. You can do whatever you want. It's your world too. We were looking for another person. And while we were looking for this person, all the roads were closed getting in. This is 2 weeks ago. And we come to the end of the road. We're all the bridges are gone. And so we're just trying to find a way over the mountain to get to this one guy that we're trying to find. And while we're doing this, we come to the end of a road. And by the end of the road, I mean like the road's fucking gone and it does not exist. And there is now a river where a road used to be. And they're cut off completely from what's on the other side of that bridge. And there was a woman named Anna. She's Ukrainian. She's lived here for like 30 years, 25 years, something like that. She was crying at the end of this road. And so we pull over and we say, what's going on? How can we help you? Right? Because that's how we start every conversation up there is how are you? How can we help you? And we were also greeted with that same response. Hey, how are you guys doing? Do you guys need anything? So that's the mood at this point 2 weeks ago. And she says, and I'm going to butcher the accent, but she says, everything is gone. My family is gone. And I said, what? She's like, my family, they're gone. Washed away, or they're gone. And I said, huh, that's wild. And she goes, don't turn around, but there are men lying in the bushes behind dirt bikes that have been bothering us. They stole our guns. I don't know who they are, but they're laying in the hill behind you. And I was like, oh, she's crazy. This is a crazy, crazy woman. So I walked back to the Forerunners where all the guys are. These are special operations guys. We had an EOD guy, a pararescue guy, a Green Beret, myself. I think another guy was like law enforcement. I don't know what everybody does in the Forerunners. We had a bunch of guys in there. Everybody's got guns though. And I say, like, she says she lost her family. And she says that there's a man laying down this hill with guns and that they've stolen their guns. So we walk down the hill and sure as shit, there the men are on the dirt bikes, laying behind the dirt bikes. Oh, my heart stopped, And so we dealt with that problem. Got those guys out and away with as little drama as possible. And then we went back and I said, now what's going on with your family? She's like, they're gone. And I said, is it just you? She's like, my husband's still looking. He's out looking for the family. And I said, well, has anybody been down here? And she said, no. She says, men come with guns and vests and the helmets and they come and they walked around. We told them our family missing and they left. They gone. They not even look. And I was like, what? And she says, next day, New York truck show up. They walk around with dog. They get in truck, they leave. They not tell me their names. They not ask me my names or the name of my missing family. They just gone. They leave. I was like, wow. And she's like, 2 days later, another truck come from Texas, Border Patrol. They walk around same area. No information, no talk to me. They leave. We not seen anybody since. And I'm like, goodness gracious, this can't be right. So I start talking to the neighbors. The neighbors are like, yes, their whole family's gone. Like we knew them. It's her sister, her sister's husband, their 13-year-old nephew, their grandmother. They were all washed away from the storm. And so were some other people that were out here. And we're like, and there's nobody here? And they're like, no. And I was like, has anybody come and talked to you? No. No National Guard? You haven't seen anybody? No. And I was like, and you guys are completely cut off. You got no electricity, no water? No. You are the first people that have talked to us. And I was like, oh my God. So I call the Sentinel Foundation guys. That's who we were working with. And I tell them immediately on the ground, we've got a boat crew. We got helicopters in the air. Volunteer people, by the way. We've got 5th Special Forces groups. They got in contact with these other nonprofits. 5th Special Forces group guys with dogs. Marine Raiders, Recon Raiders on the other side of the creek running boat crews. We've got 4-wheelers, side-by-sides, helicopter, drone pilots, all searching for the next 72 hours. 2 of the 4 were found. We stayed out there. We had teams that literally had so far down in the gorge they couldn't get out with the dogs, so they had to sleep there overnight and have an air helicopter drop in supplies for them, dinner and whatnot. And we kept working 72 hours in the mud, the stink, debris pile after debris pile, 30 feet high. Everything smells like death out there on the river. They found 2 other bodies that weren't attached to this family. I mean, it was just awful. And it was emotional. And there were so many problems to be solved out there. It's like, how do we get this 4-wheeler down this hill? How do we get this kayak over this waterfall, this raft over this waterfall? How do we get to this debris pile? I mean, it's just, 72 very, very hard hours. Oh, by the way, when the dog hits on a 30-foot pile of debris, you only have like 4 or 5 dudes to go through that debris. And we're talking whole trees. So we got chainsaws and hatchets and shovels. And it takes, hours and hours to get down to the bottom of this debris to try to find what's down there. And sometimes it's just a dead cat, or a refrigerator full of meat, or a dead dog, or, a dead bear, or whatever. And so after 72 hours, we call it. And everybody kind of leaves, and we leave. And I had promised Anna and her husband that we would come back and we would give them closure and let them know what we found. And so I came home for a day, for 24 hours, regrouped. I was here, I podcasted with you guys, that part. And then we went back. And this time we came back, we brought the Starlink, the Coast Guard guys came back, and we cut up the trees in the grandmother's yard that had perished, and that now Anna and her husband, Ryan, were actually staying at her house now, which is very emotional too, because their house is destroyed. And grandmother had gone down to the valley to stay there because the trees, she was afraid of the trees or something. So she went down into the valley to stay with the brother-in-law and the sister and the nephew, and had no idea that their house would be completely swept away. And so Ryan and Anna were in their house, and their house was, they woke up to water up to their knees, and they forced the door open. They got their kids. They started climbing up the back door and up the mountain to the grandmother's house. They get to the grandmother's house only to remember she didn't stay here. She went down the other side of the mountain to go stay with the sister. And so they run over the mountain to go find them. And she says there was a sea of water, an ocean of water on the other side of the mountain. Not one roof was in sight. And so they just stood there and screamed and yelled, and they knew that their family was gone, but there was nowhere to run. I mean, they were covered in flood. So they went back to the house, and the next morning they woke up, no helicopters, no sirens, just dead silence, no planes in the air, just silence. And they thought everyone was dead and that they were the only survivors. They thought they were the only ones left in the whole mountain, the whole area. And the next day, nothing. It wasn't until that Monday that those FEMA guys showed up in full kit and uniforms and guys with guns in the whole 9 yards. So then Ryan tells me, he says, look, man, there's a big camp here where they host, like, the children come and they have the pool and it's just a camp. And people inner tube down this river all the time. And one time somebody missed this checkpoint, and there's this very small waterfall, guys, like maybe 3 feet, 4 feet. We went down in a kayak. The kayak flipped over. Everybody's fine. Like, it's not that big. I mean, it's a rapid, but it's not anything crazy. And so when they missed this checkpoint in these inner tube, these teenage boys, they called 911 and they were like, hey, they floated on past and they're headed down the river. And so they had firefighters and helicopters and people on forward, everybody rushed. And they got these kids in like less than 30 minutes and they were fine and they were okay. And it was like really nothing. But now when a whole family and other families are gone, nobody's there. There's no helicopters or anything. So very bizarre how this happens. And so these Coast Guard guys, we cut up their lawn, we give them a Starlink, and we give them all these things. And it's a very emotional time. And we bring a chaplain. The chaplain prays with them. There's not a dry eye. Everybody's kind of sniffling and crying. And then all of a sudden from the bottom of the hill, in this moment, this magic, this like very compassionate moment, we hear, hey, you guys know where 7 Mile Road is? And we turn around and it's 2 National Guard soldiers. Nobody's seen the National Guard, not once. And all of a sudden, in this magic moment of closure with this family and the afternoon that we spent with them cutting up wood, having snacks, having fruit snacks with them, that's all they had to offer us was fruit snacks. And they wanted us to eat them, right? Like, this is all we have, but thank you so much. Like, and he's like, you felt bad, right? And so I'm like, the dad, the husband, Ryan, he's like, what, he's like, you could see some rage in him. And then like one of the other guys is like, who is this dickhead down at the bottom of the hill? And so the guy yells out again, hey, where's 7 Mile Road? And I go, hold on. And I walked down the hill and I was like, dude, what do you guys need? Like, what? Stop yelling. What is it that you guys need? And he's like, where's 7 Mile Road at? And I go, 7 Mile Road's gone. And he's like, what do you mean gone? And I go, what do I mean gone? I mean, like, a fucking hurricane happened and it took away the road. And he's like, dude, let me ask you something. What's up with all the static? What? What is up with all the static? Like, why is everybody giving us the culture? Why is everybody treating us like this? And I said, are you talking about my guys? Like, I've never seen you before. And he's like, no, just like everybody in general. It's giving us static. And I said, well, maybe because you're yelling up in the driveway. You didn't realize these people were having a moment up here? Like, by the way, they lost everything. Their home, their family's home. All they have left is their grandmother's house, who's also dead. And they have no water, no electricity. And they're having the worst 2-3 weeks of their lives. And you're at the bottom of the driveway yelling. By the way, remember at the beginning of the story when I told you every conversation has started since I'd been up there with, how are you guys doing? What do you need? What can we do for you? Not, hey, where's 7 Mile Road? And so I said, you know, nobody starts a conversation like that. And then he said, man, whatever. Like, how do we get across the river? With no empathy. And so we said, hold on, dude. Hold on. You're not getting this. So we got in the side-by-sides and the trucks and we drove them down. And I gave him a Google image and I said, do you see this Google image? You see all these houses right here? You see these trailers over here? It's really beautiful, right? And I said, now look in front of you at this beach area. And he said, what? And I said, that was this. And he said, what? And I said, that was this. This was all here. This beautiful picture I'm showing you, that was this. And he goes, where did it go? And I said, it's gone. It's wiped off the face of the earth. Gone. And he was very confused, as we were all confused when we first saw it weeks ago. So we put them in the side-by-sides and we have them walk beside us and we go all the way around. It's like a quarter of a mile all the way around the corner to see the devastation and all the trailers piled up on each other. And the National Guard guy begins to cry. He gets super teary-eyed. And he's like, what can we do? Like, what do we do? What do you want us to do? And we said, look, man, I said, go put on a yellow road guard vest and throw a case of water on your shoulder. And whatever it is that your fucking mission is, you knock on every door and you start every conversation with, how can I help you? What can we do for you? And do you want some of this water? But if you walk up to one of these houses with that fucking notepad in your hand, like you're holding it right now, one of these people are going to fucking shoot you in the face. Because nobody wants a uniformed guy like you coming in 3 weeks later after all they've been through with your stupid fucking notepad and no plan to even use the notepad. And that's how we ended that conversation. And I felt bad, but that is the sentiment right now in Western North Carolina.
So when you see on the news and you're like, oh, these malicious, well, no, it's not malicious. It's peoples and communities. And it's, when we talk about like communities being wiped off the face of the earth, it sounds like, oh, we're just saying literally the entirety of towns. Because we're not talking about a town of 100,000 people. We're talking towns, there may be 500 people in the entire town, if that, and that's a big town. These are rural areas. These are mountain people. They're not big towns. They're not giant anything. And most everything in there, like the emergency services, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, a lot of that is all volunteer.
100% volunteer.
Because I do the lighting stuff and I sell stuff to people all the time and it's all volunteer. It's all, everybody's in these communities. It's not like they have big government to come in to do anything to begin with. They're all on their own. And then what they did have is gone. The fire department with the 3 trucks that are from 1970, gone. The building, gone. The little clinic where you can go get your flu shot every year, that's gone. The schoolhouse, gone. The gas station, gone. Every bit of it, gone. Just the entire street that you know, everything on the left side of it, post office. Every bit, the propane tanks going down the river, like every bit of it just gone. So when you go, okay, so how do we get back with resources? Well, you're literally going back to the 1900s and going, all right, or even further back, the 1800s, because there's no road to get there, let alone electricity, running water, any of that stuff. So like getting Starlinks to people, like you have to get like it's not just getting Starlinks.
Let me go back and tell you the Starlink part. So I go back the following day from the family after all this National Guard hoopla happens. I go back the next day. This is intense. They we went back because we had to we met the Samaritan's Purse guys, and we were coming in with Samaritan's Purse to see like how Samaritan's Purse can help, which by the way I don't think they can help because I don't think structurally the house is sound. I think they can only rebuild if the frame and the structure is good. So I don't know, but Samaritan's Purse has been amazing, incredible. Like I will donate to them. I will be a part of whatever they got going on. Mad respect for them. But I think in this case, I'm not sure, but I kind of got this sense like, I don't think we're going to be able to help very much. But so I went back with them on this final day. They had boxed up the Starlink and they walked it out to me when we pulled up in the driveway. And she's like, I'm glad you're here. She's like, I want to give this to you. And I said, what? And she's like, I want to give you the Starlink back. And I said, was it not working? Is it broken? She goes, no, we made the phone calls. We made our phone calls. We sent out the emails. But there are many people up here who have not made the phone calls, have not made the emails. And you take the Starlink to them so they can make the emails and they can make the phone calls. And I was like, okay, I have more Starlinks for those people, but this one's yours. Like that's the problem that we ran into the most up there. Even on my last day, 91-year-old lady, Sue, and I'll post a picture of Sue on the Failure to Stop Facebook page. So
give me a second. I'll work it up.
Okay. This picture of Sue and, we talked to Sue, hey, and she's got a nice house and it's up on the mountain and you would think that she's unaffected by the storm because it's up on the mountain. It's a nicer house. Small, but very nice. And she's 91. And we said, Sue, how are you? What, we heard some neighbors said that we should come check on you. It was like everything. And she's like, oh, I'm fine. So good to see you guys. I'm fine. We don't have electricity. We don't have water, but we're fine. We're doing good. I'm doing fine. She's like, my neighbor Tina comes up and checks on me every morning. We're doing fine. I said, okay, so you got heaters. It's super cold. It's 39 degrees. You got enough heat? She goes, oh, I lost heat yesterday. My propane tank ran out. I go, oh, where's your propane tank? She goes, it's in the house. And I was like, in the house? Because I thought a big, ginormous propane tank. The green canister, she had a heater on top of the little green Coleman propane cans. Little tiny heater set on that and a candle that was about 4 inches long where she had been sitting next to a candle and this heater. She was wearing like 5 robes. Put this picture of Sue up. Put this picture of Sue up. Okay.
Yeah,
so little old Sue has been sitting next to a heater that's out of gas and a candle. And we're like, Sue, like, girl, you need some light and you need some heat. Like, you need a generator. Like, what do you mean you're fine? You're okay. You're not okay. Look at this lady. This is like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but this is the only way she can stay warm because it's so damn cold in that house. And she's like, we're like, do you need gloves? She's like, no, I think I'm okay. My hands are a little chilly. We're like, Sue, just, geez. So we drive down the mountain to the airfield. It's like 45 minutes away. And we talk to the medical crews there. There's another veteran special operations type nonprofit there as well. That's just like Sentinel Foundation. And they're working with Sentinel Foundation. So we get the med teams like out there to them. And so she like didn't have insulin because her insulin went bad. And like, then, we're getting her all set up with this generator. And like, I'm trying to go home. Like I'm trying to get back yesterday early. And now it's like 3 p.m. And so I'm like, okay, anything else, Miss Sue, that you could possibly need? She's like, well, there's a man down the hill. I think his name's Charles, but I don't think he's had oxygen for a few days. And we're like, what? So we drive down, he's like 92 and he's out of oxygen. So we got to do the whole thing over again with him and get him oxygen, get him set up, get him generated. And then he's like, well, so-and-so down the way, she needs adult diapers, size small. They don't have any small adult diapers anywhere. So we got to go find it all. So I don't end up leaving until like 6 p.m. That's why I got home so late last night and was late here. But like, that's what I'm saying. It's like every single day we ran into people that needed help. But we'll tell you face to face, I don't need any help. I'm good. Like, you're good. You don't have any fucking diapers. Like, you don't have any light. You don't have a candle. You don't have anything, but you're good. You know what I mean? But here's another side of that story is every day we ran into somebody that if we didn't run into them, week from now, they might be dead from exposure. A week from now, they might be dead from lack of medications and oxygen. Like every day we're running into these people. So if it wasn't for groups like Sentinel and Save Our Allies and these other guys sending out teams like ours around the mountainside and coordinating all of this, which is not being done from the emergency command operation centers or being done from any of the government rans, then who's going to do it? And so that was my big problem of leaving the mountains is like, I felt this sense of responsibility. I still feel this sense of responsibility that like, I need to still be there. Like, I know the land, I know the area, I know the hollows. I figured out the routine, and I figured out who's been helped and kind of who hasn't. And now I'm leaving them. And so it's not over, Wolfpack. We've got to go back, right? So right now we got to think about Thanksgiving is coming, Wolfpack. Just Christmas is coming. Winter is literally coming, Wolfpack. These people aren't going to have anything. And so, like, yeah, there was this rush of like social media influencers and these guys on the ground doing their interviews. And thank you, God, thank you for those influencers. Please don't shit on them. Please don't give them any shit. This story has to be told. It has to be told because mainstream media doesn't seem to be telling it from whatever. I don't know. I haven't even seen mainstream media, so it's not fair for me to say. But I from what I've gathered, is a lot of people haven't seen much about it. But guys, hundreds of miles of devastation. There was one house on top of the mountain that we spoke with yesterday, and half of the house fell down the mountain, and the wife was in that half, and the husband was in the other half, and he still hasn't found his wife yet. So even the people that were on top of the mountains, where the mountains gave way, I mean, it's just some is tree damage, most of it's flood damage, a lot of it is mudslide damage. I mean, there's so much catastrophic. I mean, it's like the world opened up and said, fuck you, Western North Carolina, and they devoured it. And Mother Earth devoured Western North Carolina. And I don't know why. Maybe God is planning something bigger. I think he is, because I think God moved in a way that I haven't felt since my childhood. And I became very spiritual from this. I don't want to sound cliche or weird, or emotional, but honestly, God, I felt a calling from God. Like, I felt like God said, here you are, this is your place to serve, and you're going to serve others, and you are going to keep serving them until I'm done with you. And you're not going to feel complete until you have done what I want you to do. And that's just where I'm at right now in my life. And so I need the Wolfpack. I need anybody. I don't know what to do. I called James from Getting a Grip on Things and Elijah, Mike the Cop's son, this morning. And I said, look, you guys are ideal people. Like, you have ideas and you're men of action, and you've done charities and you've done things like that. But I don't know where the Wolfpack or where this Fox Media company, the new Fox Media Failure Stop company, I don't know where we as a company go from here, but we're not going to sit around and do nothing. Thanksgiving is coming, Christmas is coming, and I encourage all of you to bring your minds together. And whatever your idea is, there's no stupid ideas. If you want to DM me your idea of what we can do, for please send it. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to go with your idea, but I need to have these ideas, and I will personally bullet point them out, and we're going to figure this out together. And because God has called me and tugged at my heart to do this. And I don't, I haven't had God call me to do much in a very long time. So for me personally, and I feel that because you guys are my family, that we're all been called to help in some way. And not just superficially help, right? We're not just gonna give somebody something for clout. If it's like sustainable help, what can we do as the Wolfpack that sustainably helps someone or helps these folks? And so we're going to come together and we're going to find these plans, because I don't have the answer. I would say, to keep it easy, DM me at Eric Tanzi Official or Failure to Stop on Instagram. Those are the two I really have access to, the easiest. Messenger on Facebook if you have to, and I'm going to try to get over there on that, but that one is so filled with God,
spam.
It's just everything, bro. It's hard. It's hard to keep up with our Facebook Messenger, because that's just a lot. There's a lot of messages, and a lot of them are good, but a lot of them are just like, fuck the police.
You gotta filter through it all, and
very weird.
It's
but I will do it. I like listening because it's important to me. So I will keep chatting. But if you can do Eric Tanzi Official or Failure to Stop on Insta. Some people says I don't have Instagram. Perfect. That's okay. Why don't you DM us on or messenger us on Facebook?
Just either Eric, or if you get with me, all of mine, because I'm on all the stuff too. I can get with Eric because I talk with him daily.
Yeah,
either one of us.
Yeah, and I don't want you to download something you don't want to. Hit me on Messenger. Yep. Just somehow, if you don't hear a response within 24 hours, send it again and again and again until we see it, because it's hard to figure out what's spam and what's real. So if I see you like 8 times hit me up, I know like it's probably for a good reason. So please don't be afraid. I'm not going to judge any of you. I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to bother you. No, you cannot. This is not I don't want to bother you problem. All right. This is, I want to be burdened by what has been burdened and has been undone. I want to be burdened by this. And I know that you have better ideas than me. I know you do.
Yep. So this is some cold weather supplies that the YouTube channel PNW Gorilla, they have 170 that 4,000 subscribers. So we're giving them a shout out. That they probably give us a shout out, but they have all kinds of cold weather gear. The whoobies and all of that cold weather, like the old stuff that every one of the veterans, we hold on to that stuff. They have this in bulk, and it's at the Emmanuel Baptist Church. If you're listening, it's at 933 Millers Gap Highway in Newland, North Carolina, 28657. That's 933 Millers Gap Highway, Newland, North Carolina, 28657 at the Emmanuel Baptist Church. So they don't know how to get all this information out to people or where to get it off, but that's where cold weather supplies, because like Eric said, it started snowing right before he left.
Yeah. And I know that for one, I think we're going to do a Thanksgiving up there. So maybe our Thanksgiving November meetup will be up there, probably in the Burnsville area, and we will do some Thanksgiving stuff up there. So I know, like for me, Thanksgiving is there's my two favorite holidays are Thanksgiving and 4th of July. I mean, I love Christmas too, but I have done the same thing for Thanksgiving every year. We have a family, all 32 of us. For the last 10, 15 years of my life, we have all 32 of us have been in one place at the lake house, done Thanksgiving together for the whole weekend. I'm willing to put that on hold this year to go do Thanksgiving up there in Burnsville. This is really important to me. So I think maybe our meetup might be a Thanksgiving-ish meetup in Burnsville. I got to put that together. But yeah, maybe we do like the gift of a good night's sleep. Maybe we give these folks the gift of ghost beds. Maybe we collect money and give a couple of these folks some ghost beds. I don't know what the answer is, but I know that Ghost Bed has supported us since day one. And I would not have been able to take 3 weeks off of my life and go up to the mountains if it wasn't for a company like Ghost Bed. So please, if you would, just private message Ghost Bed on Instagram. If every one of you that have Instagram or Facebook DM'd Ghost Bed right now and said, thank you for allowing Failure to Stop podcast guys to go and help for 3 weeks, that would be huge for us, because they're missing out on 3 weeks of good advertisement that I'm still going to get paid for because we were out there, and they've put up with our shit for a while. So I mean, really, guys, honest to God, please go to Ghost Bed on their Instagram or wherever and just DM them and say, thank you for allowing Failure to Stop podcast guys to go out and help during the hurricane efforts. It means a lot to all of us. And I think we should all be forever Ghost Bed. A lot of you guys, I think most of our listenership now at this point owns Ghost Beds or Ghost Bed pillows or whatever. I did travel, of course, with my Ghost Bed pillow. I'll post a picture today on Failure to Stop. Love my Ghost Bed. It's destroyed and it's disgusting. I talked with Rich this morning from Ghost Bed. He is going to donate some pillows for us to get out there. But maybe we as a wolf pack, we make a collection for Christmas. So we'll plan for Thanksgiving, a meetup. In Thanksgiving, we'll do some Thanksgiving stuff out there. And then maybe for Christmas, we'll start gathering some money and I'll buy 1 or 2 ghost beds for some folks that really need a good night's sleep, because I think mental wellness, mental health, getting back to normal starts with a good night's sleep. You can't be effective and efficient if you're not sleeping well. And you know me, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. The ghost beds are far. I've been to the facility. I've been to the manufacturing facility down in Florida. They hosted us down there. I got to see their customer service. I got to see their research and development. I got to see where they produce the beds, where they ship them out. The thought, the time, and the care, and the fact that the entire family, and this is one of the oldest surviving bed companies in America. I'm so proud to be sponsored by them and have been my whole entire podcast career, 5 years now, something like that. Ghost Bed has been with me since day one. Also, we have factormeals.com/wolfpack50, meal planning to the next level. So if you're trying to get swole and thick, or you're like Ryan, the Coast Guard guy, trying to lose a couple of pounds, he saw some pictures. He said, damn, my Giot's thick. THICC thick. Maybe you hit that calorie conscious. Stop meal planning. Stop going to the grocery store, buying all the things, and then buying the shit that you don't really need. Spending the gas money to drive home, and then you're trying to like cook your shrimp over here, and then cook your asparagus over here, and then you're trying to find your Rubbermaid tote, and you're trying to find your Pyrex dishes and all the lids, and you're going insane. And you've wasted all this time away from your family. You could have went to Factor Meals, chosen from their hundreds of menu items. Listen, I get mine every Tuesday. I get breakfast and lunches every Tuesday for the week. They're fresh, never frozen. They are not frozen. These are chef prepared, fresh, never frozen meals delivered right to your door. They get this like Nordic ice cooler that it comes in. It's very nice. It's presented itself very well, and it's color coded. So you want to do calorie conscious, right? Like less than 500 calories per meal. And they're all healthy meals, right? The shakes, the breakfasts, all the lunches, the dinners, very healthy, very, like all those superfood type stuff. I do the protein heavy, right? So 50 grams plus protein per meal because I want to get jacked, baby. I want to be swole, Papa Swolio. I want to get thick. THICK, not ICC. So anyway, go to factormeals.com/Wolfpack50. Get you 50% off your first week of meals. Stop trying to meal plan yourself. That's nonsense. By the time all the money and the time you spent trying to meal plan, you could have just went to Factor Meals. It's absolutely a wash, and you can get on a meal plan that's good for you, and you will be full. You will be sustained. I've been on these meals for a while. You guys see I lost 26 pounds this year total. So I went from being a fat ass after my broken arm to kind of a lean, mean fighting machine. Not so much right now. In 3 weeks, I've been eating like shit. But, these things heat up in the microwave in 2 minutes, even if you have a Coast Guard peasant microwave. So you get that little shop microwave that they fucking bought from Walmart. It takes everybody else like 6 minutes to heat up their leftover, whatever curry. Chicken stinks up the whole place. You could go 2 minutes or less, throw these meals in there. They're hot and ready to go, even if you have a peasant Coast Guard peasant Coast Guard microwave. Also, GhostBed, you can finance these things even if you have Coast Guard credit. So even if you have Coast Guard credit, you could still probably get on a plan for a GhostBed or a GhostBed pillow. And by the way, the 50% off the GhostBed pillows are insane. Like you guys know. I don't have to tell you guys. I've said it 1,000 times. I've said it once. I've said it 1,000 times. Please, for the love of God, go to GhostBed on their Instagram or their Facebook and send them a message. Thank them for allowing Failure to Stop to take a couple of weeks off and to go help these hurricane victims. That would be huge for me, guys. I really want them to know that it was known that they allowed me to do this and that it was appreciated by you fans. So Bosco, all of you guys, a lot of people, especially in the YouTube chats, all probably own a GhostBed or GhostBed something at this point. You've all sent me pictures of it. Please go and give them the love that they deserve. And Bosco is in the chat says he's got 2 of the GhostBed pillows made in the good old USA. Damn it, Josh. If you're going to get on with the USA, you at least got to do it fucking right. Have you not seen Rocky 5, dude? God. Do you not know the rhythm? It's USA, USA, USA. That's the rhythm, not whatever it is that you're doing. That's not the rhythm.
Gotta practice.
Make yourself small again. Make yourself small again. I'm over it.
There we go. There we go.
Put yourself in the corner. Make yourself small. I'm just kidding.
You want me to tell you about this cool SpaceX thing real quick?
All right, let's finish up on SpaceX. I'm excited.
So what they're trying to do is this is what they did this weekend is a test. It's all it was a test. It's a test of one of the tests and the phases of many tests to get to other tests and do things. So basically what they have is they have their Starship that will eventually take people to the moon and then further down the road down to Mars. And then they have the rocket portion, where the rocket portion is the size of a 28-story building. It's not exactly small. So it's not enough that they launched a 28-story building with a spaceship on top of it into space. Then they caught this 28-story building with chopsticks out of midair. This is how big this thing is, to give you an idea. So the space shuttle's on all the way to the left, and
dude, a space shuttle is massive.
So the entirety of the space shuttle is smaller than the rocket portion of the Starship.
Holy cow.
So this is what happened. So I apologize to the audio listeners for that one. This one has no audio. So this is a video from the rocket. So there are these 2 pins. There's one on either side of it. This is what the entirety of the rocket is setting on. So it's not like every bit of this is incredible, but we're literally putting the entirety, all the weight of this falling out of the sky, which was going several thousand kilometers an hour just before this, because it's put the Starship portion into outer space. It catches it on these 2 little pins. So long-term, what this is going to do for them is this will let them, this is basically a bus stop What we're doing is this is the next train station. This is the next bus stop. This is the next that thing for the future. So back in like the 1800s, we had, we've got horses, and now we're going to have bus stops and train stations and stuff like that. This is the same thing. So eventually over time, these rockets or these space stations will be set up all over the globe, because sometimes it's better to be on one side of the globe or other, depending on what planet you're going to. But these rockets will be able to go up, put the starship into space, come back down, be refueled and ready to go within an hour.
Wow.
So back in the day, we would get rid of the boosters and the tank. There was so much waste from the space shuttle program. So that's what all of this is going to take things down to get the cost down to where it becomes something of a number that we can actually look like. Because Elon made a tweet the other day or a couple of days after this talking about that it's going to take $1,000 trillion to start to be able to set up something on another planet, like a moon base or a base on Mars. But if we can get a lot of that cost is because we're spending money to build a rocket we're not going to use it again. So that's an expendable cost. If we get these expendable costs down to where we're able to reuse things, we're recycling things, because the super heavies and all these other rockets that they're using right now, a lot of that they're using it for other things, but those are test things that they're able to use. And some of these rockets, we've got 30 or 40 different they've gone up and back, 30 or 40 different times, something that the space shuttle was never able to accomplish. So SpaceX is literally paving the way to where maybe your kids and our kids will be able to visit other planets. I don't know that it's in the books for us, because, we're in our 40s now, and you got to be a lot more physically fit to go into outer space. But that'll be our next generation will have people on the moon. He's talking within the next couple of years, we'll have people on the moon, living on the moon on a regular basis. So we'll be an interplanetary species.
How will they breathe up there?
We'll bring everything has to go up there with it. The oxygen makers, everything. So just like they're doing in Western North Carolina.
Are they going to bring the weather machines up there to create the weather for them?
I think Elon's left that off the payload, but just like Western North Carolina, we'd have to bring everything there because there's nothing there.
Right.
So like we're going to
oxygen.
Yeah, including oxygen. So instead of going to the moon, we'll just take, instead of those resources, let's get those resources over to Western North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee and Northern Georgia. All those places are super affected. It's nuts, man. It's absolutely nuts.
Dang, bro. That's intense. That is intense. Guys, listen, we will keep back up in normal as scheduled next week when we get back from this epic event in Orlando. God, I hope I see some of you guys in Orlando. I really want to see you guys this weekend. I want to hug you. I want to hold you. I want to just do all the things. I want to laugh with you. The comedy show is going to be so fun at Tactical Brewing Company. Get the word out to all your Florida peeps and your Florida friends. Tell them they better be there, or they better be square. Be there, be square, or be queer. No, that doesn't rhyme. Doesn't rhyme. Be queer, be square. Queer square doesn't rhyme. Be there, be square. To be fair.
Yeah, my Slim Shady brain of rapping is not working this morning.
All right, from all of us here at the Failure Stop Podcast Network, guns up, giddy up.
See ya.